What's up, everybody? Now, before anybody says anything, I know I did not wash my hands for the full 20 seconds, but honestly, this video is already long enough, and I know y'all don't want to watch me wash my hands for 20 seconds straight, so promise, when I'm washing my hands for real, I do it for the full 20 seconds. First off, the kind words from all of you have been super encouraging. I've already received some really great suggestions for future videos too, so definitely keep those coming. I thought I'd start off these videos by telling you a little bit about myself. And I'm not really gonna pull any punches. We're going deep right from the beginning. So I'm gonna start, I guess, with a little bit of a confession, something that nobody really knows about me. So lean in here. I'm kind of a medical genius. No, I didn't go to medical school or anything. I don't have like a degree, but I promise you, I know as much as any of those doctors. You see, I have this routine. I'll notice a new mole, I'll Google it, look at the possibilities, realize I have skin cancer. I wake up with a cough, sit down, Google it, lung cancer. I'll get a paper cut while bringing in the mail. Well, in that situation, I'd probably just get a Band-Aid, but after that, I'd probably Google it for good measure, realize that easy bleeding is a sign of leukemia, and then boom. Blood cancer. And I'm only partially joking, actually. You can ask my wife, Adrian. Hey, Adrian, how many times do you think I've been convinced I have cancer?
I don't know, like 50?
So, there you have it. Like 50 times. And honestly, I think that is a conservative estimate. What I'm saying is, I feel like I've been training for this pandemic my whole life. Many of you have only recently adopted medical anxiety. I was born in it, molded by it. I didn't discover WebMD until I was already a man. Okay, I'm sorry. That last part was stupid. I had briefly considered trying to get like a Bane mask, to do that last part, but I guess what I'm saying is I'm very acquainted with fear and anxiety. Thankfully, I've been able to make progress in dealing with my own anxiety symptoms. And since many of you are likely experiencing fear and anxiety at record high levels, I thought I'd take the next few videos to share some tips, some things that have helped me. So, first off, I think it's important to explain what the source of anxiety is. I may not be an actual doctor, but I am extremely interested in the biology of our minds. I'm a huge nerd and I absolutely love reading about all of the newest science, especially when it comes to our brain chemistry. And you know what's interesting? Anxiety is natural. It's actually generally super helpful to us. It was once explained to me that the feeling of anxiety that we feel is really just our sort of fight or flight instincts kicking in. It's the part of our brain that helps us not get eaten by predators or killed by an enemy. In some ways, anxiety is our brain's way of saying something's out of whack. Something's not the way it's supposed to be. Something is out of order. What's interesting is the Bible actually has a lot to say about this topic. In fact, it starts on page 1. The entire Bible starts with this super awesome Hebrew poem about creation. Most of you have probably heard it. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Now the earth was formless and void. So, real quick, let's stop right there. Now, I know it doesn't sound like very good poetry in English, but in Hebrew, the original language that this poem was written in, it's awesome. In fact, in that second verse, there's this really fun set of Hebrew words. I'm gonna butcher the pronunciation, but I'll put it up on the screen. It's tohu vabohu. It's that part that's usually translated formless and void. Some other good translations for it are confusion, chaos, disorder, and emptiness. The poem goes on to explain how, in the very beginning of it all, God is there, hovering over the disorder and the emptiness. And he begins creation by taking that disorder and bringing order out of it. That's what all those next few verses describe. He separates the light from the dark. He divides the land from the sea. He creates the animals and he gives them very specific things to eat. He makes the world structured and ordered. This is an idea that runs all throughout the Hebrew and the Christian scriptures. God is a God of order. And whatever you believe about God, you'll have to admit human beings also really like order. We like everything to be like neat and clean and organized. That's why so many of us go around talking about how OCD we are. Whenever our world gets turned upside down, whenever we can't grab a hold of things and make them fit neatly together, nicely, in an ordered way, that's when we start to feel anxiety. But there's a huge problem in all of this, right? The world is not ordered. There's famine, earthquake, violence, disease in all the world. So what does that mean? It's crazy actually, because what I was describing in the beginning, the way I'm constantly Googling my symptoms, is apparently really common. People who are constantly worried about being sick are called hypochondriacs. And this new type of person who constantly Googles their symptoms just got a new name. They call these people cyberchondriacs. Sickness, disease, and plagues have been a thing for a long time. The difference is now we know all about it. All of the possible diseases that could kill you are just a click away. There are online tickers telling us just how many people have coronavirus right now. That's information that nobody in previous plagues knew. As a culture, we've never been more aware of how much disorder and emptiness there is. All of the tohu vabohu we could ever want is right at our fingertips. So what's my point? Really, it's 2 points. First, feeling anxiety is natural. Remember, you are not supposed to live in the middle of all this craziness. You were not meant for it. Your anxiety is telling you something. It's telling you something is wrong. It's telling you that things are out of order. Second, God is not a fan of all the chaos either. The Bible literally begins with God bringing order out of the chaos. The original enemy is tohu vabohu, chaos, disorder, emptiness. God wants things to make sense again too. Now, I understand some of you may be skeptical about what I'm saying. You've probably experienced more than your fair share of chaos, disorder, and emptiness. It might be hard for you to believe that God actually wants order. So I want to take the next few videos to build up a little bit more of a case for a God of order. But like I said, that'll have to wait for the next video. Can't forget the drink. It's not sponsored by Coke Zero, by the way, but I mean, I'm down for any sponsors if you guys want to do that too. That was a little more natural, right? Still, no?